Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 142 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
Yeah, hey, how you doing today?
I'm just peachy. How are you?
I am too. Let's just jump into things.
Okay.
Hey, welcome to June.
It is indeed June.
I can't believe it's June already.
It is.
Flying by. That happens when you get older.
Really?
And the older you get, the faster time flies. Haven't you ever heard that?
Yes, I have heard that. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm not old enough yet to feel that. I
Really?
don't know.
You don't think that like the years between, say, the time you were in kindergarten and the time you graduated high school, does that not feel like an eternity?
Yes.
Now, take those, say, 12 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And think when 12 years ago from now was. Does that seem like an eternity ago?
No.
Right. See what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying.
Anywho.
But the interesting thing about that, though, is that in the living of it, it feels the same. In the memory of it, it feels different.
Really? See, with me, even in the living of it feels like time has moved at an alarming rate.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. And I read something that said the reason that it feels that way is because you're being exposed to so many fewer things than you were as a child.
Oh.
And your brain is learning fewer things than it did when you were a child. Also, your days become a little bit more monotonous than they were when you were a kid.
That seems reasonable.
So that can also cause time to seem like it's going faster.
Well, hey, listen to all of us then. Keep learning stuff.
Right.
No,
yeah,
seriously.
absolutely.
I'm not joking. Keep learning stuff.
Oh, no, you should always keep learning things.
Constantly.
Yeah. Well, maybe we're going to learn some things today.
We
learned some stuff, talk about segue.
Right.
We learned some stuff. We watched that documentary on gut biome the other day.
Yes. This was a documentary that we found on Netflix called Hack Your Health, Secrets of the Gut Biome.
Yeah. And it's not a vegan thing.
No, not even remotely.
Yeah. Not even remotely. But very interesting.
It was pretty fascinating. This was a group of scientists and nutritionists following 4 different people who had different digestive issues or different issues surrounding food.
Yeah.
Everything from anorexia to someone who was a competitive eater.
Yeah, they had that boy who is you've probably seen him. He's the kid who can eat like, I don't know, a gazillion hot dogs in one sitting. And he's very slight. He's very slightly built.
Yes.
He doesn't look like somebody that can eat that much food. But what it did was it totally messed his gut biome up.
It did. He no longer feels hunger.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he says sometimes he'll go days without eating because he doesn't feel like it.
Realize that, he's in need of food.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So, yeah, very interesting. And then, another has a lot of allergies or sensitivities. And so their diet is quite, I'm going to say monotone.
Yeah.
It's like they eat the same things all the time.
Yeah.
And the thing that the scientists and nutritionists were underlining through the whole thing was that to have a healthy gut biome, the most important thing is variety.
Right.
Of the foods that you're eating, and specifically variety of plants.
Right. A variety of fruits and vegetables is the most important thing to keep your gut biome healthy.
Yeah. And so we were fascinated by this. And so we're kind of on a new mission to make sure, because they recommend counting the different fruits and vegetables that you eat each week.
Yeah. They said that you should be shooting for eating 20 to 30 different fruits and vegetables throughout the week.
Yes.
That's a lot of fruits and vegetables.
It's a lot of fruits and vegetables.
20 different. I mean, it's one thing to say you need 20 servings of fruits and vegetables, but to make those servings something different each time, it's a challenge.
Well, but the thing is, it doesn't even state specifically that you need a full serving of any given vegetable. I mean, there was kind of an extensive sequence where they had one of their participants who happened to be a vegan baker, a vegan and gluten-free baker,
right,
making a smoothie with a list of 30 different fruits and vegetables.
Right. Yeah.
And so you're not getting a full serving of any one vegetable probably.
Right.
In that.
Yeah.
But what you're getting is the variety.
The variety. And I think they told her specifically which fruits and vegetables she should be aiming for because they tested people's gut biome and told them what things, where they're lacking.
Yes.
And what fruits and vegetables they can eat to get those bacteria.
Yeah. Yeah. It was super cool.
It was really fascinating.
It really was. And so we are now on this mission to make sure that we get at least 20 different fruits and vegetables throughout the week.
It's a challenge.
I'm excited about it.
I know.
And so that
Sam
means,
immediately got a notebook and started writing down fruits and vegetables.
I love lists.
Yeah.
Lists are great.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what I think it will do is, number one, Christine and I have said before that we could both use a little more fruit in our lives.
Absolutely.
And so that's so easily done.
Yeah.
So we have, per usual, a vegetable heavy dinner in general. And then later in the evening, just have a little bowl of berries or fruit. And and I'm just so excited about that.
I think it's really cool. It'll be fun to try.
Yeah. So I'm really excited.
Yeah.
And since I'm doing some of the cooking now.
Yeah. And speaking of
I can kind of base things on, what vegetables haven't we had yet this week?
Right. And speaking of that, Sam cooking. Sam made a recipe this week.
I did.
So here is this week's Vegan Cookbook Challenge recipe of the week.
Indeed, this week we are cooking from Food is the Solution, What to Eat to Save the World, and that is by Matthew Prescot. And this is a book chock full of 80 recipes for a greener planet and a healthier you.
Yeah, and I think we used this book one other time. What did we make out of it the first time we used it?
The first time we used this, we made, and we've only made it once, and we really need to make it again, was the crispy rice paper bacon.
That's right. That's where that came from.
So good.
It was good.
It was really good.
And we make BLTs with it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I could go for a BLT.
Yeah, we'll have to dive into that recipe again.
A BLTA, actually.
Yeah.
Put some avocado on it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. But so what did we make this? And I say we. When I say we, I mean you.
Hey, wait a minute. That sounds familiar, but in reverse.
What did we make this week?
This week, we made the ginger sesame soba noodle salad.
Sam made this soba noodle. It's a cold soba noodle salad. And we literally just had this like less than an hour ago.
This is true.
Very good.
It was.
Super light, really good warm weather fare.
Yeah. Yeah. Very light because the salad is served either at room temperature or cold.
Yeah.
And for us, it was more room temperature than cold. We didn't refrigerate it or anything.
It was perfect the way it was.
It was absolutely fantastic. And it's a very simple recipe. So even if you're not a whiz in the kitchen, which honestly I'm not, I actually had to have Christine come and julienne some vegetables because my knife skills are atrocious.
You don't have the greatest knife skills, but it doesn't mean you can't cook.
Well, no, I can cook. I just don't have knife skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very, very lacking in that department.
Yeah, I always tell Sam part of the problem is she uses the wrong knife, but she won't listen to me. She likes this little, it's like this little, I don't know, 4-inch chef's
like
knife.
that.
It's too small.
Well, I really like it. And the bigger knives feel unwieldy to me.
Do they?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. It's just, I'm not used to using them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And, I would love to have my knife skills get better, but that would take serious practice and we'd have to murder a lot of vegetables unnecessarily.
Well, a good thing to practice knife skills on are onions, and onions don't cost a lot.
That's true.
And you can use them in so many things.
That's also true.
So if you ever want to practice, you just pull out a couple of onions.
Yeah. I'd have to have you show me.
Yeah.
I like being taught things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you would show me how I could improve my knife skills, we should work on that.
I would love to help you improve your knife skills.
Thank you very much.
But anyway, back to the recipe.
Back to the recipes. So this is a really simple recipe. So it involves, of course, cooking some soba noodles, cutting up a whole bunch of vegetables and creating a really simple sauce from sesame oil, garlic, ginger, rice vinegar, soy sauce, and maple syrup.
Yeah, that's a perfect combination. And like immediately the house was filled with this wonderful aroma.
Oh my gosh.
As soon as you just got the sesame and the ginger together, it was like, ooh.
Yeah. As soon as the ginger hit the sesame oil.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The smell was just fantastic. It was really amazing.
Yeah.
So incredibly simple. So you create the sauce, put it off to the side, chop your vegetables while your soba noodles and edamame are cooking, and chill everything down a little bit just with cold water.
Yeah.
Toss it all together, and there you go.
Bob's your uncle.
Indeed, Bob's your uncle. I was thinking that, yes.
Yeah, this is a good go-to summer recipe, I think.
It really is. Yeah, I like it very much. And so this is definitely something I would make again. I'm really psyched that we had leftovers because I'll be able to take them to work with me on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, the book is Food is the Solution by Matthew Prescot. And we'll leave a link so you can get your own copy if you're interested in getting one.
Yeah.
In our show notes.
Yeah, but it really was a wonderful summertime recipe.
It was. Thank you for making it. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of loving this. I'm feeling kind of pampered.
Cool.
Now that Sam is making the recipe of the week.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you feel that way.
So let's move on to our Noteworthy section. This is kind of a fun Noteworthy section and kind of exciting. I don't know.
Noteworthy section.
Yeah. So in our Noteworthy section, we're going to be telling you that Nutella is launching a vegan version of their product very soon, apparently.
Oh my God. I am so excited, but it also means that we need to take a trip because really it's only being released in Europe. Ferrero has announced the launch of a plant-based Nutella, which is set to be released in some European countries later this year.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. It's okay because there are some really good vegan versions of a hazelnut spread.
Yes, but even the best of the hazelnut spreads, and actually some of the hazelnut spreads I appreciate quite a bit because they're not as sweet.
Yeah, I like that Nutella.
Yeah, Nutella is very, very good.
Yeah.
And you get more of a hazelnut flavor and not like
less
overpowering chocolate.
Yeah, less chocolate.
Yeah, it's really good. But the one thing that Nutella just doesn't quite match on is the texture. There's not a single other hazelnut spread out there that gets the texture of Nutella.
Really?
Like that gets it so incredibly creamy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing. So for those of you, and I'm pretty sure there's not many of you, but we'll say this anyway. For those of you who don't know Nutella, Nutella is a hugely popular hazelnut chocolate spread that is sold all over the world. It is thought that a jar is sold every 2.5 seconds.
That's funny.
And the launch of a vegan version has been hugely anticipated.
Yeah.
A spokesperson for creator Ferrero Rocher has now confirmed to Plant-Based News that Nutella Plant-Based will be released in autumn 2024. This further addition to the Nutella family will deliver an unmistakable experience by replacing milk with vegetal ingredients, offering a delicious new choice, able to welcome even more people to the brand. Ferrero has not yet confirmed which countries Nutella plant-based will be available in or how much it will cost.
Yeah, see? They haven't released which countries it'll be available in.
But they said specifically it will be released in Europe.
At first.
Yes.
Because
that's what I'm saying.
They're a European company.
Well, of course.
But
yeah, and so I'm saying I don't think we can expect it in the U.S. by the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not holding my breath. I'm also not too worried about it.
No, I'm not either.
Also, I haven't done any deep diving into Ferrero Rocher as a company, whether or not their chocolate and stuff is ethically sourced.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something to look into in the meantime, before it's released. Is this a product that we even actually want to be purchasing?
Yeah.
And support.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I thought it was interesting and kind of exciting.
Ferrero's decision to release a vegan Nutella comes amid skyrocketing interest in plant-based eating in Europe. Due to growing concern about the ethical, environmental, and health impacts of animal products, more and more people are seeking out plant foods. A survey published last year found that 28% of Europeans eat one plant-based alternative weekly, with plant-based milk being the most popular.
I've heard that plant-based milks are much more popular than dairy milk in European countries.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did a Noteworthy a while ago that quite a large Dutch dairy concern was switching over to plant-based entirely.
Right.
Was doing away with their dairy division in favor of expanding their plant-based range.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And noteworthy.
Totally noteworthy.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. All of you in Europe, keep an eye out for the plant-based Nutella.
Let us know if you see it. Let us know if you try it. Let's move on to our main topic.
Cool.
This week's main topic is, are some Ag Gag laws unconstitutional? Well, a court in North Carolina says, yeah, they are.
That's awesome. North Carolina spent 8 years arguing that it was constitutional to ban employees from recording undercover video at work. After losing in court to animal rights and food safety groups who have argued the videos are key to exposing poor business practices or wrongdoing, the state has agreed to pay their $885,000 legal bills.
Now, they're just paying for legal fees, so they're not changing the way they do business or anything.
No.
But this kind of does open the door. The courts are saying that factory farms, they can fire people. They can take any kind of, action against employees that do this and film undercover, but they cannot press charges.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And they tried to send this case to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court wouldn't even hear it.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is amazing to me, considering the conservativeness of the Supreme Court right now.
Yes, you'd think that this would be right up their street.
Yeah, but let's just look. This is not a political thing because the Attorney General in North Carolina he's a Democrat, and he's the one that wanted to push this to the Supreme Court and force them to say, "Hey, this is illegal. That these people cannot be taking videos within their workplace."
Well, that makes perfect sense because said district attorney is now running for governor.
Yeah.
And so he's not going to run for governor on this platform.
Yeah, he needs
the support of the agriculture industry.
Yeah, he needs that money.
Carolina.
He needs that money from the animal industry,
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Now, other states have had to pay similar settlements over such Ag Gag laws, pushed by the agricultural industry in response to exposés from inside factory farms. But the settlement in North Carolina is 4 or 5 times larger than the others, reflecting a long legal battle that ended when the Supreme Court declined to take on the case last fall. Groups that challenged the law said in a statement that North Carolina's payment should serve as a serious warning to other states. As People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals said, defend the agriculture industry's interests to the detriment of the health, safety, and civil liberties of your citizens, and you'll be choosing to do so at the taxpayer's significant expense.
Yeah. Now, bear that in mind. This money was paid by North Carolina.
Yes.
Not by a specific CAFO or farming facility.
Right.
So this is taxpayer money. Mm-hmm. $885,000 of taxpayer money paid the legal fees of these animal rights people.
Yes. Now, North Carolina's law was different than ones struck down in other states, which state officials argued made it constitutional. The law that banned secret filming, though backed by the agriculture industry, covered all employers. And instead of making undercover filming a crime, it allowed companies to sue employees who did it. But a federal district judge and the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit concluded that it was nevertheless an unconstitutional restriction of free expression. North Carolina first offers that undercover investigations in non-public areas as a class constitute unprotected speech, wrote the court, one of the more liberal in the nation. That is a dangerous proposition that would wipe the Constitution's most treasured protections from large tranches of our daily lives. Fortunately, it has no basis in law. While businesses don't have to let people engage in filming or other speech on their property, the court ruled the government can't step in and make that conduct illegal. A Trump appointee dissented from that appellate ruling, and North Carolina tried to get the conservative U.S. Supreme Court to intervene and rescue its law. National agricultural lobbying groups supported North Carolina, saying the lower courts had greenlit sabotage of farms by animal extremist groups. So did 16 other states, saying they want to protect employers involved in animal agricultural operations. The Supreme Court rejected the petition without comment.
Yeah, and if you consider filming inside of your business as sabotage, when all they're doing is filming what's happening on a daily basis, what does that tell you? Right?
Yeah.
How is it sabotage if there's nothing bad going on?
Yeah. If there's nothing to hide.
Exactly. How is it sabotage to release what's actually happening?
That's right. If there's nothing to hide, why do things need to be hidden?
Right.
The law also banned any action that, quote, substantially interferes with ownership or possession of business property. The Fourth Circuit noted that this part of the law could allow companies to sue workers for even mere reporting of a conversation had with other employees to a newspaper, a union, a state agency, if the reporting leads the state to shut down the facility. So here you are, you're someone working in one of these facilities, and you have a conversation with someone about the conditions inside the facility. And that person goes to a newspaper and says, I had a conversation with a friend of mine who works in this place. I really think you need to investigate what's going on here. And if that moves forward at all, then the original person, the original employee who had that initial conversation could be sued.
Yeah, but don't you think, I mean, I'm not an attorney, of course.
This is true, you are not.
But you would think that certain whistleblower laws might protect somebody.
Sure.
If they uncover, like, heinous activity.
Right.
You know?
But it's even better that this court has just said, no, these things are not illegal.
Yeah.
It's unconstitutional to call them illegal.
Right.
So that's even better.
Yeah.
This is a really interesting step forward in the evolution of Ag Gag laws.
I think it is. And I think what's super interesting is that it's happening in a state like North Carolina where the animal agriculture industry is so big.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, this is actually, for me, a really nice nod to it's not only corporations that have rights. Citizens have rights as well.
It does. And it gives me some hope for our ultra-conservative Supreme Court that there's still some unbiased judging going on there.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I thought that was some good news.
Yeah. I'm really interested in that news, and I'm interested to see like what happens in other states in relationship to this.
Yeah. What kind of precedents it sets.
What kind of precedents, exactly.
Yeah. And I did a little digging, and I thought it would be interesting to give some information on some strategies to help you combat these Ag Gag laws.
Oh,
just
cool.
As individuals. And here are a couple of things that I came up with. You can have public awareness campaigns. You can raise awareness about the existence and the implications of these Ag Gag laws through social media, documentaries, public speaking, and collaboration with influencers to inform and mobilize your communities.
Nice.
You can support whistleblower protections, which is what I was talking about.
Yep.
Advocate for stronger whistleblowing protections that safeguard individuals who expose unethical or illegal practices within the agricultural industry. You can make legal challenges, support legal challenges to Ag Gag laws by partnering with civil rights organizations, animal welfare groups, and legal experts to contest these laws in court. There's legislative advocacy that you can do. You can engage in lobbying efforts to oppose the introduction of new Ag Gag laws and to repeal existing ones. Work with sympathetic legislators to propose laws that enhance transparency and accountability in agriculture. Consumer pressure is a good thing.
Yeah, always.
Encourage consumers to demand greater transparency from food producers and to support companies that adhere to ethical practices, which is what we're always talking about. Support the companies that are doing things ethically, right? Consumer pressure can drive industry change and make Ag Gag laws less tenable.
I mean, come on. If there's one piece of information we should absolutely have a right to, isn't it where our food comes from and how it's produced?
Absolutely. Yeah, there should be transparency laws, not Ag Gag laws.
Amen.
Amen, sister.
Yeah, preach, my sister.
You can coalition building. From coalitions with diverse groups, including animal rights organizations, environmental groups, labor unions, and public health advocates, to present a united front against Ag Gag laws. It's really important when you're doing, any kind of disruptive advocacy like this, that you don't discount groups that aren't focusing solely on veganism.
Right.
That you take into account environmental groups. When, there's environmental things going on around communities where there's factory farming going on, engage with those groups and work together.
Right.
To try and get these laws repealed. There's educational initiatives. You can develop educational programs and materials to inform the people around you where you live, especially in agricultural states, about the negative impacts of these Ag Gag laws on your society, on animal welfare, and on the environment in which you're living in. And last but not least, media engagement, which is what Sam was just talking about. If you go to like a local news station, work with journalists and media outlets to highlight stories of abuse and the importance of investigative reporting in agriculture. Media coverage can shift public opinion and increase pressure on policymakers.
Certainly can.
So if you live near a CAFO, you see things going on, call your local news station.
Absolutely.
And say, look, this is what's happening in this place. And, maybe you'll find a journalist that works at that local news station that has the chutzpah to go in and do something about it, Anyway, there's just some things that we can do to help combat these laws. Because, we have the power.
We do.
The people have the power. So if you want to make change, we got to do things to make that change. Does that make sense?
It most certainly does.
It didn't sound like it made sense when it came out of my mouth. But anyway.
That's just how you roll.
You see what I'm getting at.
I do.
Anyway. Yeah, if anybody else out there has any really good news regarding Ag Gag laws, or if you have any experience regarding Ag Gag laws, let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to talk about it.
Yeah.
And learn about it.
Yeah, because I think the Ag Gag thing, it is a giant can of, not worms, because that's vegan.
Beans.
It's a can of beans. It's a giant can of beans.
Yes.
And I would really like to unpack some of that,
Yeah.
And have conversations with people that know a little bit more about it than I do.
That sounds delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that brings us to assignment Restaurant SOS.
Janet Bennett submitted Little Black Heart Coffee. Located at 321 Oliver Street, North Tonawanda, New York, Little Black Heart is an adorable coffee shop and cafe that has a stunningly large menu of coffee drinks, tea drinks, matcha options, mushroom options, and locally made baked goods, along with some really fun vegan products. And for those of you who aren't aware, it's actually just catty corner across the street diagonally from the vegan grocery store.
It is indeed. And you know what? Let's take a look at this amazing menu of drinks that they have, because I've never seen, like, Starbucks doesn't have this many drinks.
No, it's huge. The menu is huge.
It's giant. So let's just pick out a couple of things. Okay, caramel macchiato. You can't go wrong with that.
No, you really can't.
And this is all vegan. All vegan. Samosa cookie latte. I want that.
No, that's a Samoa's, not samosa. But I don't think that you would want a samosa latte. I think they're referring to
Samoa,
the Girl Scout cookies that used to be called Samoas. Yeah.
Not samosa. That would be weird.
That'd be strange.
But I just misspoke. Samoa's cookie latte. That I want. I don't want a latte that tastes like a samosa.
Oh, no, that'd be fantastic.
Macadamia nut vanilla cold foam cold brew. I can't have cold brew, but if I could, I'd be getting that.
Yeah.
What's sticking out for you? I mean, there's so much good stuff on here.
Well, I mean, I've had a few of their things. My favorite is the turmeric ginger chai latte.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a surprise, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They also do a beautiful London fog. I do love me a good London fog.
Yeah.
But just so many things. Matcha latte, classic chagachino. So that's chaga mushrooms in a cappuccino. You would love this. I'm sorry. The peanut butter mocha latte.
Ooh, I'm going to get that next time we're there.
It says it'll be back soon.
Oh.
They don't have it right now. But also raspberry mocha latte. Raspberry and chocolate and coffee is a favorite combination of mine.
This one sounds good to me. Pistachio honey latte, and that is vegan honey.
Right. That's honey with 2 E's, not a Y.
Pistachios, bee-free honey, and creamy richness of a latte. That sounds really good.
Yeah, just so many things. And then if none of their specialty lattes kind of do the trick for you, you can build your own.
Yeah, they have a build your own chai latte. You can't beat a good chai. I've had their chai latte. It's really good.
It is wonderful.
Anyway, and they usually have a nice selection of locally made baked goods on the counter. It's just a cute little place. So if you are in the North Tonawanda area or the Buffalo, New York area, please be sure to stop by Little Black Heart Coffee. Again, they're at 321 Oliver Street in North Tonawanda, New York.
And they are open every day, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5.
Thanks, Jeanette, for submitting Little Black Heart Coffee.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. It's one of our favorites.
You want to take a look at their menu, you can take a look at that at littleblackheartcoffee.com. It's time for our favorite portion of the show.
Must be listener shout-out time.
It's listener shout-out.
Just want to give a shout-out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
This week's listener shout-out goes to Lori Pinzer. Lori is the owner of Briarwood Farm Sanctuary, an active vegan and animal advocate in her community, and she has just an incredibly generous heart. Thank you for listening, Lori, and for all you do for the animals.
Yeah, thanks for listening, Lori, and for all you do for the animals, of course. And please reach out to us and send us your t-shirt size and address so that we can send you a Compassion and Cucumbers swag bag. You can either email that to us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com. You can text us by using the link in our show notes or DM us on Instagram or Facebook.
And hey, friends, we're running low on listener shout-outs again.
Still.
Don't let this happen.
No.
If you want a listener shout-out, email, DM, text. Let us know what you think of the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And hey, get some free stuff. And don't forget, any shout-out enters you into our Meeson Chef Knife giveaway later this year.
That's exciting stuff.
It is exciting stuff. Who wouldn't want a brand spanky new Meeson Chef Knife?
Not you, because it's a big chef.
It's a little too big. It's unwieldy for me. That's a very fair point. Well played.
I mean, it's not huge. It's a normal 8-inch chef's knife.
Yep. Fair point. Well played.
It's time for our Vegan Org of the Week. This week's Vegan Org of the Week is The Animal's Voice.
The Animal's Voice is an independent online resource for helping animals and the people who defend them. They are an award-winning networking source of recent media coverage, timely information, and an incalculable volume of resources for animals and their defenders. They feature the latest news, multimedia, events, victories, thought-provoking and inspirational editorials, graphics, and compelling photography, as well as in-depth investigative reports as they relate to the plight of animals. Through their online database and their international award-winning animal rights magazine, The Animal's Voice has proven their potential among activists and adversaries as a powerful force for the betterment of animals worldwide. The Animal's Voice was founded by Laura Moretti in 1986. You can learn more at animalsvoice.com.
Just another wonderful vegan organization out there doing the work.
Doing the work for animals.
Yeah,
Gotta
walking the
love
walk, talking the talk, walking the walk.
Love it.
Hey, it's time to wrap this baby up already.
Wow.
I just have a couple of calls to action for you.
That's new.
What's new?
That you have calls to action.
Oh, are you being sarcastic?
See, this is the whole thing. I can't do sarcasm. Whenever I try, nobody thinks I'm being sarcastic. I've tried this. My students, seriously, nobody ever thinks I'm being sarcastic.
Anyway, please join the Agriculture Fairness Alliance's Vegan Voter Hub. We always put a link in our show notes, so click that link and join the Vegan Voter Hub. Please subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app and subscribe to our YouTube and leave us a review and a rating if you want, or if you can. Even if you don't want, do it.
That was persuasive.
Remember, you can text us now. So text us show ideas or recipes or cookbook recommendations. Text us to say hi. Text us what the weather's like where you are today.
Yeah, we'd love to know.
Whatever. Just text us. That's it.
That's it? You're done?
I'm done.
Okay. Well, with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 142 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion on the podcast.
Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We will talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
We do. Bye-bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.